You finally bought a shiny new graphics card to replace your old one that just wasn't quite getting the frame rates you need in the games you want. Let me show you how to take your old graphics card out and put your new one in so that you can get back to gaming as fast as possible. The first thing you're going to want to do is turn your computer off and then unplug all the cables from the back of the PC. We're talking your power cable, your monitor cable, your keyboard and mouse cables, anything you got plugged in, take it out. Next, you're going to lay the PC on its side on a sturdy surface so that you can take your side panel off. Some cases have thumb screws that you can take off with your hands. Others, you might need to grab a Phillips head screwdriver. Just take those two screws out, slide the panel off. Wasn't that easy? Now, before you touch anything on the inside of your computer, what you're going to want to do is touch the outside of your case on the metal part so that you can discharge any static electricity that you may have built up. Now, people can be pretty dumb like me and build computers on carpet, and the manufacturers know that people are going to do that, so they built in some safety measures to help not fry your equipment with static electricity, but it's still best to just take a few seconds to just touch the outside of your case and make sure that there's no static electricity built up. Now, this part's for people who already have a graphics card in their computer, so if you don't have one already, you can skip ahead. For those of you who do have a graphics card already, the first thing you're going to want to do is unplug your power cables from the graphics card. Some GPUs might not have power cables because they're pulling power directly from the motherboard through the PCIe slot, and if that's the case, you don't have any cables to remove. Next, what I like to do is remove the screws holding your graphics card in. That could be either one or two screws, so just get your Phillips head screwdriver, take those out. Then find the latch holding your GPU in place. It's usually at the back of the PCIe slot, kind of underneath your graphics card. Now, there are two kinds of slots. One is a hinge slot that you press down on to release, and the other is a tab slot that you push sideways to release. This motherboard has a tab slot. I'm going to push that down and pull the card right out. It should slide out fairly easily, so don't force it if you're meeting a lot of resistance. Double check the latch and make sure it's not getting caught on the back of the case where your screws were. Now, for those of you who don't already have a graphics card installed and you're installing one for the first time, you're going to want to find where your graphics card will go. Usually that's going to be the top PCIe slot closest to the CPU on the motherboard. Then you're going to want to remove the expansion slot covers. This could be one or two depending on the graphics card you have. Usually in these days it's going to be two. Then to actually install your graphics card onto your motherboard, what you're going to do is double check to make sure that your latch is actually open if it's a hinge latched, and then you're going to line up the gold pins with the slot and make sure the metal bracket slides into the case opening. Sometimes it can get caught either on the motherboard or just on the case, and then press firmly until you hear a click. You don't want to just manhandle it. It shouldn't take a ton of force. Then you screw your card into place, either using the screws you took out from your old graphics card or the screws you took out from the slot covers. Now, if your new graphics card has PCIe power ports, which it most likely does if it's anything relatively new, plug those cables in from your power supply. If you forget to do this, well, your PC just won't boot and you'll have to go back into the case again. And dudes, we don't have time for that. We just want to get right back to gaming as fast as possible. Pro tip, before you close your case, do a test boot to make sure everything works. Plug everything in, turn it on, make sure your monitor is connected to your graphics card and not your motherboard. Once you've got your computer turning on, close it back up, and then make sure you install your GPU drivers. If you're keeping the same graphic card brand, then it should be relatively easy to just update and install the drivers. However, if you're switching, you may need to run a program called Display Driver Uninstaller and remove the old graphics card drivers and then install the new ones. I'm gonna make a video on that shortly, so make sure you are subscribed if you want to see that. You've just upgraded your GPU like a pro gamer. You're officially part of the PC Master Race. If this video helped you out, drop a like and maybe even subscribe. It really helps me out. If you have any questions, hit the comments. I read them all and try and respond to them all. And I'll see you in the next one, dudes.